Social deception games. Usually I look at them and I go, hey, how much can the player base try to ruin this game? And it's generally the way things go is that you get like a couple of months of good play in any social deduction game, and then, yeah, you end up with a genre defining meta which ruins everything. I think one of the reasons why Among Us was so popular is that there cannot be a meta because it's so simple. But with Town of Salem, with so much layers of complexity, everyone's always got to find a way to take that away. That's mostly what happens with vote for role or vote for ability, in my opinion. I believe it's a mechanical mess where players will effectively try to take out the element of Town of Salem, which is deduction, and try to turn it into like a mechanical, easy game where everyone puts them up onto the stand and tries to get their role. Except there's massive flaws in it, like incredibly bad flaws in it. For one thing, it's a established community deal, which means there isn't any official like explanation on the actual game of what vote for role or vote for ability is. Meaning that, effectively speaking, at any one point you could have somebody come along who doesn't know what the heck you're talking about, meaning your entire system doesn't work. Because the idea is you vote everybody in the town up, you get them to put their roles, but what if you got a new player? New player doesn't know what VFR is. They think they're being voted up. They're thinking, what the heck, why are you doing this? And then people vote them and then say, oh, you're stupid for not having this that you should have known without even playing the game. It's a very elitist attitude, is vote for role. The barriers new players from the game, which I hate, because we always want new players playing this game. Like, we need new attitudes, we need new people, we need new funny souls to come into town and cause chaos. So basically there was a video done about the role for VFR by a YouTuber who seems to have done an all right job trying to make a little argument for it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna watch it, and I'm gonna pause the video at certain points and put my 2 cents in on it. Okay,
With the
let's
release of
go.
Town of Salem 2, an old debate has become quite the hot topic again. Should we be using vote for all? Regardless of what you think, I hope we can approach this discussion maturely and avoid the heated arguments and insults we've seen in other corners of the internet. And while we're at it, I'll say I am not impartial in this, but my goal is to stick to the facts alone in this video.
See, this is like the exact type of person I would like to actually argue against this with.
To get everyone on the same page, Vote for
Okay.
All, commonly abbreviated as VFR, is a strategy that became popular and ranked Town of Salem to get claims from everyone quickly.
Small point. This is now vote for ability because they effectively brought in ritualist doomsayer and major roles that can just kill people the moment they know your role specifically. So it's now vote for ability because they want you to put out like your ability, which gives like a list of what roles you could be. At which point you can claim that later, and then so they have an idea based on what's on the role list.
To use it, players would ask the first person on the list to claim their role. If they didn't, they'd be voted to trial.
Yeah,
If they
it's
wouldn't claim on
always the first
trial, they'd be
person.
voted guilty regardless of if there was a lead on them beforehand.
I
If they
have seen an uptick of reverse VFR where we start at 15. Like that's been happening a fair bit. Oh boy, is League going off.
did claim at any point, this whole process would start over again with the next person on the list until claims have been obtained from everyone. It is not what it's commonly mistaken for, random voting. The purpose of putting a person on trial is to get
Yeah, it's not random voting. It's very highly calculated, and I think that League is having a fit. Hang on a second. Yeah, I get it. I get it. You've given me fuck tons of fireworks. Go away. Okay.
them to claim under the threat of voting guilty if they don't, not to always vote them guilty.
Okay, so I need to bring up something here. I call it my the stand is lava concept. In that the moment somebody's up on a stand, you will always have the possibility of them being voted guilty. Especially since evils can try and force any sort of role claim they want by just going I counterclaim or saying this sounds sus or wrong or hey, I found this out the other night. And then because Enchanter exists, they can basically just say, oh, there must be Enchanter. And that person who made that push now has to be investigated. And if Coven have like an illusionist or something, then that's like there's all sorts of ways to stop all of this now, which means that I would say that's not a really good idea to put anyone on the stand for no good reason. Especially given that Monarch exists, and if they've knighted someone who happens to be bad, the moment you start putting people up on the stand, you risk like an a majority out of nowhere. So I don't even want to talk about town trader mayor.
Town isn't randomly throwing their players to the gallows because they didn't claim 2 seconds after the day started. And if you see someone mistake VFR for random voting, you should gently correct them. Anyway,
Um, Gently correct? No, no, because saying random voting is a good way to throw people off if they're trying to gain information. All you have to do is discredit them when they say VFR, and then go, no, this is random voting, and then people will stop voting. It's basic deception tactics. I mean, you can try and gently correct them all you want. It's still gonna be something they don't want if they really don't want people to know their roles, or if they haven't actually come up with a fake claim yet. Like fake claims have to be changed all the time, which means rewriting wills, everything. So basically saying don't VFR is a good way to stall for time if you're an evil, or even if you're towny, being like, hey, I haven't got a will yet. I need this to stop. So you kind of have to look after yourself in this.
this all blew up about 6 years ago, with many players refusing to vote for role or claim the role on trial when it was used. The
This could
general
have been
anti
me
VFR
actually.
mentality was that it ruined the game by forcing players to reveal their role, and that Town of Salem was meant to be played with secrets, and it was the town investigator's job to find evils, not the town as a whole.
So I don't agree with this. I think the town as a whole has a duty to look for all the evils themselves. Like scum reading is a big part of this game. I think that if you feel that somebody's done something that's out of place, even if you're something like a cleric, it's your job to try and push that. I feel like there shouldn't be like a hierarchy of townies who should get to vote people and not. Like democracy is cool and all, but I think that if a townie has an idea, they should probably go with it. They should probably voice their opinions and see if other people share that. Also, there is nothing to stop you from whispering somebody and asking them their role yourself. If they give you the role in a whisper, you can put it in your thing. Like VFR gets you like what three rolls a day. If you whisper fuck tons of people and ask them to role claim, maybe even say like guess say hey I'm jailer I'm proven or something, give me your role. You can get like at least 5 rolls a day as long as they whisper you back. And if nobody whispers you back, then you can just say, hey, they're sus, and that gives you an idea on what's going on. Like, if people don't have their claims ready, I guess that could be either it could be bad. But the thing is, I've seen people have their claims not ready in wills at all. Like this whole idea of having to have a last will is really dubious because I see people be lazy, not pay attention to the game, and just not have a last will. And when they ask for their will, they say I haven't got one, and then they turn out to be town, and the idea there is that you have to really take into account that town aren't going to be what you want them to be. They aren't going to do what you want them to do. They're not going to adhere to all these community rules. Like, if you make up this rule and say, this is how things should be, we need to do this, and if you don't do this, you're bad, then people who aren't in on that agreement could be Coven or could be Town. It's not an accurate way to really work those things out.
It got so bad to the point where the trial moderators had to clarify that, yes, not defending yourself on trial was in fact game throwing.
Um. Okay. People can give up. People can be angry. People don't exactly have to go through these things. I guess it is game throwing if you don't try and at least get town not to vote you. I would definitely understand it was game throwing if you say, vote me, go ahead, you losers, how dare you, stupid town, etc., etc. But just not defending yourself, you could be faking being blackmailed slash voodooed. I don't know about that.
It took years for the community as a whole to shift to using VFR consistently, but now we're beginning to see a lot of parallels to 2017's rage around the topic starting up again.
Oh, let me read this. If you VFR someone as townie and you're guilty of them only for them to be a townie as well, anyone who suggested should be reportable for game throwing. Not true. They could be evil. They could be town just trying to claim. I don't think that you should be reporting people for game throwing for trying to get information. We should be. What should be reported for game throwing though? Game throwing is a very loose term. Like what game throwing actually is kind of like there's some things that are really easy to determine a game throwing and some things that are not. Let's stop VFAing as a crutch. True, true. If you can't work out other ways to get information and just think that VFA is the easy way to get town wins, Coven are going to run circles around you. You're not adapting to the situations. You're not going to be able to do much if all you think is that all you have to do every game is VFR. It's not going to work. VFR should be a reportable offense. I don't think that is something that should happen. I don't think we should be reporting people. I think we should be trying to change the attitude. Like, I think that conjurers should shoot VFAs on sight. I think the moment that anyone mentions VFA, they should get conjured in the face, and that should like gently nudge people away from doing it. Didn't want to claim roll day two, but they still put me up, so I claimed coroner. Called me a liar, hung me, and today I was coroner. Nobody's coroner. There's no such thing as coroners. They don't exist. No. Really, claim or hang is just a bad system. It is. It's a bad system, but it's what people use if they really want to try and speedrun the game because they're lazy. You only get 3 votes up a day. Like VFA instead of like going after people who have invests is kind of VFA should really only be like a last resort if nobody's got any investigations or scum raids. To be honest, like you should be concentrating on the interactions between people rather than just forcing somebody to claim something that's easily fakeable. It's like wasting time. VFR is toxic. Remember when people actually deduced things from what people in the town said? Should be more defenses against VFR, like only be able to put 2 people on the standard day. As Ritualist and Doomsayer aren't enough of a VFR deterrent, it seems. I think they're a pretty good VFR deterrent. Ritualist isn't in Classic. I think if you put them in Classic, that would be a bit overpowered for the Coven, though. So it's a bit of a thing. If you want to get rid of VFR, you could just like give more evil rolls a thing of if lynched day two, kill random town member. Like it's just day two that's the problem for VFA. Like if you can stop the day two stuff from working, maybe just give it 2 trials in day two. Maybe that would work.
Here's the thing,
Anyway, I'm
like
going
it or not,
off it
there's
on
no debating
today.
that Vote for All works and we should be using it as town. If you don't like it because you don't think it's the proper way to play the game, you're totally entitled to that opinion. But you also have to accept that by not using it as a strategy, you're playing in an objectively suboptimal way.
Oh, suboptimal. Imagine if we had fun in Town of Salem, right? No, it's I reject this. It's not an optimal play. In fact, all of it does is give Coven more chances to deceive and Town more chances to kill innocents. Like, Coven will basically just put up a fake will, and they already know who they're going to like try and push. Like, Town aren't gonna push haphazardly. Like, if you give them a claim that makes sense, they'll just note that down and that's it. They'll innocent you. But if somebody puts up a roll that Coven want to kill, they can easily just start pushing guilty. Like, I also have this the town will follow whoever's loudest factor. Like, if a coven starts yelling guilty, I find this sus. Like, even without any evidence, just literally just being like, this doesn't sound right, chief. Sometimes town will just get sheeped into it. Like, if 2 or 3 more people are saying guilty, like, there's the really bad one of saying guilty if town Innos are sus. If somebody says that, you can guarantee that most townies will start panicking and start guiltying just because. Like if somebody really starts being passionate about it, it's a problem.
Let's look at what Vote for All accomplishes. It extends the day with each trial used, allowing Town more time to read over chat and find contradictions. Remember that Town wins with more information, and the more time they have to look over that information, the more of an advantage they have.
Yeah, but VFA only happens in day 2, and there's almost no information. Town investigators have nothing, and if town investigators do get something, that person's usually hanged in day 2 ends.
It forces evils into a claim early.
Yes, it does. But here's the thing, you can just basically claim amnesiac in day 2 and then say, oh, now I'm this. Or they can claim that they were faking being another role, like veteran, to try and bait people. Or, like, I saw a mayor claiming to be veteran the other day.
If you want to make
Townies lie. They always lie. Like, I don't understand why it started happening, but townies have become more liars than the coven.
a bold claim as an evil, you only have one night to coordinate it if Vote for All is going to be used the next day. It gives all players information up front to start making decisions and deductions, not just town but evils too.
Okay, so imagine you force the jailer to out, and then Ritualist is like, oh boy, our jailer! And jailer dies because you did V for A. Whoops!
But, I hear you saying, Ritualist and Doomsayer are a thing in Town of Salem too,
Oh.
so it's a bad idea now. And it's true that those roles exist as a nerf to it. Some players have been claiming their role sub-alignment, like Town Protective or Town Support, as a counter to them in
It
certain
looks
cases,
like I
and have
was,
been making the distinction between VFR and VFA,
oh, whoops. My bad. I was, like, saying that at the beginning.
or Vote for Alignment, where you only claim your sub-alignment. But for the purposes of this video, it all falls under VFR. So, I'd like to ask anyone still opposed to Vote for All, what do you think we ought to do as town if there are no town investigative leads?
Start whispering people for their roles all day, every day. Start getting random people to claim directly to you, then put it in your last will. Like, and work out if they're making sense, and then start using your role to work against what that work with those roles or against them if you think they're fake. Start doing deduction on an individual level instead of working like a machine that can have cogs thrown in it.
Town is the
Bad
uninformed
cogs.
majority.
Bad
If
cogs.
there's no information, should we not try to obtain some? There are only a couple days of town majority. After that point, they won't have the numbers to vote evils out. So
If we don't have anything concrete to work with, shouldn't we wait for the next killing? Or shouldn't we wait for there to be information instead of trying to force it out of people in a manner which could get everybody killed?
in those precious few days at the start of the game, something has to happen on Town's end. There is no time to wait around for the investigator to find someone. It has to happen now, or you'll.
Okay. I wanna talk about something, a powder keg, called the deputy. Who, if a person is voted up onto the stand and claims deputy, the deputy goes, that's my role, son, and then shoots you because you were forced to claim. Prosecutors get bored. If there's, like, people being put up on stand over and over again, you got the ticking time bomb of the prosecutor going, I want to use my ability. I want to use my ability. I want to use my ability. The more you keep town, like, just waiting, talking about random people's claims, they're gonna just keep ticking down. Tick, 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 tick. I mean, obviously, good prosecutors will be like waiting for a more good one, but we don't live in a world where everybody is as good as you think that you are. No, that's not aimed at the YouTuber here. It's basically aimed at the entire community. But I'm going to be putting the link of this person for you to go and talk to them about their video in the chat. It's hold on, it's Adagia. Ooh, sounds like Final Fantasy 15.
Lose the game. I'm sorry if you have to reveal early as mayor. I'm sorry if you get targeted as cleric if you claim. Really, I am. But Vote for All as a whole is still a good strategy for town.
Oh well, fuck the clerics, I guess.
And if you drag your feet and refuse to participate with the rest of the town, you're cutting off your nose to spite your face. Whoa, that video was a little serious, huh?
Alright, I think that no, I'm gonna play our outro.
Listen up real quick. The next video is going to be an interview with the lead programmer of Town of Salem 1 and 2.
Oh,
So
damn.
if there are any questions you want answered about the games,
Oh, that
leave
guy's
them in the
cool.
comments and I'll take the most liked ones to the interview. Before you leave one though, just scroll through the comments and see if your question has already been asked, and if it has, just like it. Thanks in advance.
Okay, there we go. Oops. Ah, crap. Music. Sorry. I like Sonic music. Alright. Okay, so that was a response to their VFR thing. I think I've done it way too long, but oh well. Anyway, thank you for watching. Leave comments about how you feel about VFR or VFA, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.